So far, on balance, I've rather enjoyed Series 11 of Doctor Who, but I've still yet to have that episode, the one which really sold it to me. Today we're going to talk about the demons of the Punjab. Has the trend changed? Hello, my name is Rob Edwards, and this is my review for Doctor Who Season 11, Episode 6, The Demons of the Punjab. Before the title card there, I said that so far this season I've been enjoying it, but I haven't found that episode which really blew me away. And I posited the question, has the trend been bucked with this episode? Oh, so nearly the case, because I really enjoyed this episode. I have a few quibbles with it, a few things which undercut it, and we'll talk about those in a moment. But before we do, let me talk about all the things I really enjoyed from this episode. First of all, I've said it a few times this season, the look of the show in this era of Doctor Who is just astounding. I thought all of the set design, all of the costuming, the direction, the sound design, the music, all of those things which lend to the atmosphere of the piece were completely on point. And it really made me believe that we were in India during the partition, and I really appreciated all those efforts that have been put in there. The show looks fantastic. And I thought the guest cast were all solid. I mean, not everyone was really standout, but all the people that needed to be good were. I thought Yaz's Nan in both the old and young forms were both good parts, both played well. I thought the brothers Prem and Manish were both excellent. I thought doing exactly what they needed to for the episode. In particular, I think Prem's performance was the standout for me. In those flashbacks we had to the Battle of Singapore, we just see the look of complete despair on his face, in the face of all that. I thought it was really powerful stuff. And the story and the setting throughout, shining a light on a period of history which really in the UK we don't talk about, and we probably should, because what we did in India in 1947, what we caused by the partition, it's not our finest hour. And I think we need to acknowledge things like that in our history, or be doomed to repeat them, as the expression goes. Powerful stuff. As for the series regulars, I was pleased to see a broader range from Jodie this episode. I said last week that she does default to her breathless excitement an awful lot, and when it works great, but it doesn't always work. We had a bit more range from her this time, and I appreciated it. Still, again, not necessarily looking at the favourite Doctor ever, but enjoyable. Nice to see Yaz get centre stage as the companion this time. I feel the lack of Graham. I think he's still got some great moments in this episode. It was Ryan's turn, I think, really to fade into the background this episode. But when you've got a big TARDIS crew, I suppose you can't necessarily serve everybody every episode. So if all of that works for me, why am I not singing the praises of this episode even more? Well, I'm afraid it's the science fiction element which really doesn't work for me. The Thijarians? I probably should look that up. We're going with the Thijarians. The assassin guys. They looked brilliant, I have to say, particularly when they had their masks off, and we got a close-up with the sort of multiple eyes and the sort of strangely translucent tusks that they had. They looked great. And while we were thinking perhaps they were the bad guys of the piece, they were reasonably intriguing. But as soon as their true nature, as soon as their true purpose for being in this episode were revealed, obviously, naturally, all of the tension of that part of the plot was taken away. And when you do that from a thing which has been a major part of the episode to that point. About 2/3 of the way through, we found out what was really going on with them. You kind of have to feel a bit deflated. The stuff which I loved about this episode still worked and was still great and was still fantastic. In fact, I think this episode would have been stronger without the mysterious alien assassins in there. So the fact that they're in there, despite the fact they look good and design was nice, really undercut the episode. And that, I think, for me, is why this episode didn't quite land. Because, again, we have another villain in the episode who's not quite a villain, who doesn't get comeuppance at the end, because it turns out the Doctor is here to see history unfold as it was always going to. In fact, this episode and Rosa actually have very similar themes. I think of the two, and probably some people will hate me for saying this, but of the two, I think this was stronger than Rosa. I love what they did with the performance for Rosa. I love what they tried to do with it. But I think the episode as a whole just didn't pull it together. Whereas this episode did pull off the main story, the main message it was trying to do, much more effectively for me. Much more affectingly for me. Okay, this was a short review, so let me just take a moment to talk about this season so far, because we only have 4 episodes left yet. And really, as I've said at the start, throughout really, the series has not blown me away. I've had an episode I've given an 8 out of 10 for, an episode which I've given a thumbs up for, an episode which I've said I'm really happy with. And the trend, I think, there is obvious, that I need to pick some sort of scoring system and stick with it. But more importantly for the show, we're at a kind of... This is where I want us to be, and we are tootling along at this level with the occasional dip down for things which didn't really quite land. And I'm still hoping for more. I'm still wanting more. I'm still enjoying this season, as I keep saying. But I just need one episode, and this was very close. I think it's a mistake in a shorter season like this one to have 2 episodes which were both set in the past, looking at a social problem, I guess. I mean, the big question of racism, the big truth of the partition of India, segregation in both cases. The themes are too similar. Both episodes I think were good. If I had to pick one, I would keep the Demons of the Punjab. And if we were talking about a 13-episode season, then perhaps both of them would be fine. But with 3 episodes down or 2 episodes down, I think it limits the scope of what we're getting from the show this season to have 2 episodes which are so closely, thematically similar. Thank you all for joining me for this episode review. On Friday, for the follow-up Friday, actually I'm a bit stuck for that one since I've already done historical episodes. What I might do is... it would have to be quite New Who centric, but I might do a 5 episodes review of my 5 favourite companion family related drama episodes. Would that work? I'll see if I come up with something better, but maybe. Yeah, maybe. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me for this episode, and thank you to my currently 13 subscribers. I know by YouTube's sakes that's nothing, but that means a lot to me that people have clicked subscribe. If you want to join that crowd, then please do click the subscribe button. That would be brilliant. If you like this episode, click like. I'm supposed to say that as well. And if you want to share this, then please do as well. If you want to see more of my thoughts on Doctor Who, there's a box over here somewhere. If you want to see more about my writing, there's a box over there. Thanks for watching, and join me next week when I will be reviewing the episode Kablam.